Hello to the chicos and the chicas. Welcome back to the inside my head kind of playing lower rated opponents, learning how to play good chess, learning good habits, learning how to not to have your headphone on when you don't need it, all that type of stuff. Plus the Slav, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to start a series on the Slav because my Slav chessable course absolutely rocks the house, and this is actually a move that I talk about in the course, which is a common misunderstanding because here the bishop g5 move does not pin the knight. This is often misunderstood for the semi-Slav Botvinnik, where knight f3 and e6 moves have been inserted. Here bishop g5 makes not a lot of sense because take is not threatened, just helps me to develop, and it's not a pin, so I'm just going to grab my pawn. And also note that here if they play e4, I have got b5, and again, no Pinarino. Now here there is an interesting motif at play, which I would like to show you. I just need to make sure that there's no noisy stuff going on in the background, so I'm not double recording stuff. Queen a5 is an interesting idea here, hitting the bishop. Now at that point it comes handy that they can take here, and after ef bishop takes c4, that would remind me of some kind of a Trompovsky, some people say, but let's go with Trompovsky. The alternative, of course, is that I just casually defend the pawn, which is what I'm very, very much inclined to do. Although, I need to be a little bit aware of ideas like take, and then queen f3. Oh, it's my daughter playing music, that's what I can hear. But it doesn't work because I can play queen d5. So we should be a-okay. a4 is very typical here. Now, obviously, b4 is an idea when knight a2 attacks both of the pawns. But again, I can't help but notice that this bishop is so awkwardly placed here, constantly in this tempo. So I'm going to go b4 here. I'm going to then follow this up with almost certainly knight e4. I would like to highlight again, similarly to the previous game that I published about 2 videos ago, my opponent is playing irrationally fast. I don't know why people do this, and when I see my students doing it, it really irks me. Because it's not like he's playing or they are playing good moves. It's not the case. Yet 4 seconds is missing on the clock, and I'm sitting here thinking, trying to figure out what the best way is. Surely they should do the same, given that I am the guy who is 2400 and they are 1600. Right? So it never ceases to amaze me how people think that, oh, it's opening, I will just blitz out, this is all common sense. No, it's not. Like on move 4, he already went slightly wrong. And from there on out, nothing at all is self-explanatory. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see where this goes. Now, out of the 2 pawns, I'm more excited to defend this because knight b4 virtually loses to queen a5. That being said, I have a lot of moves here actually because queen a5 threatens with b3 check. So queen a5, bishop takes c4, b3 check, knight c3, knight c3, queen d2. And then I will have queen h5, getting out of the pin and hitting the bishop. Oh my god. What a line. Let me check that again. Queen a5, bishop c4, b3 check, knight c3, knight c3. If bc, queen c3 check, I'm winning the bishop. So queen a5, bishop c4, b3, knight c3, knight c3, queen d2. Queen h5, queen takes c3, queen takes h4. Let's say knight f3, queen f6 back, knight e5, e6, and we walk away with a free piece. That was an epic piece of calculation there. Yeah, it has to be correct. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, this is cool. And now I'm going to immediately jump on double checking. This is how you use your opponent's time, not the way how I'm doing it now because I'm talking. You are now calculating your guts out, calculating the move that seems to be the most annoying, because if it works then that whole setup is nonsense. So one more time, bishop c4, b3, knight c3. I take the knight, and there I was concerned about queen d2 creating this dirty pin. But then I can swing across to h5, removing myself from the pin and hitting a new piece that is unguarded. And that is going to deliver the damage. So that does work. So let's see. B3. Nothing is more satisfying in chess than when two things align. You calculating a line correctly and that line being played on the board exactly as per calculation. When that happens, you feel like you are a chess god. Nothing can stop you. So B3 queen C3 wins because C4 hangs. Okay, I didn't reckon with this, but this doesn't make any sense because 95 check just stops the threats. And that's insta game over. But knight e4 might even be mate here. So 94 check forces king e2 because king f1 is met by knight d2 forking king and queen. King d1 is met by queen d2. So 94 king e2 queen d2. Then they can go to f1 because the mate is covered. Oh yeah, okay. That's a cute idea there. Yeah, I might still go down that path. Because after 94 check king e2, I don't need to throw in the queen d2 check right away. I can just play bishop a6, which pins the bishop. And still threatens with queen d2. So yeah, let's do that. Knight check. I will double check king e2 though, because it's very tempting to go in for the kill. But king f1 seems to survive there. Yeah, I don't see a forced win there for us. You know what's very cool is that after bishop a6 I'm threatening with knight d2, but surely knight f3 is coming then. Maybe knight d7 with rook b8. Yeah, this is over. This is all over, Red Rover. We are piece up and they have got nothing. And once again, this is just a really, really sad yet very accurate demonstration of how a lot of 10-0, 10-2, 10-10, 15-10 games go in online environment, but also over the board on this rating level, which is 1600, give or take at least 500 rating points. Kid you not. Give or take at least that much, because what you almost always observe is that games are going irrationally fast. Absolutely irrationally fast. Now, I'm still tempted to take it with the knight. The only fly in the ointment is this queen b7 move that tickles both the rook and the c6 pawn. Note, by the way, that this check is also at play, but knight f3 defends the bishop nicely, so I can't really gain too much wood there. So I'm just going to take with the queen. If queen d3 comes, then that's going to lead to an inevitable queen trade with me being a piece up. So I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that one. If the king goes back to e1, then the eternal problem for white here is going to be their king being stuck in the middle. We are going to play knight d7. Now rook b8 is becoming a threat. And e6 bishop b4 is the follow-up to that. So this is looking like $1 million already. Knight e2 is the move I would play, because at least that shields the king a little bit down that way, even though castling is already off the cards. But knight f3, yeah, that looks really bad to me, because after e6 or e5, but let's just go conservative, e6, we are threatening rook b8, bishop b4 check, which is absolutely terminal. Yeah, e6. And yeah, this is all over. This is all over, Red Rover. Yeah. Yeah, going all the way back here, I think a4 may have been a mistake, and maybe knight f3 was better, because knight e2 here is just ugly. a2, excuse me. Maybe bishop takes f6 here, but then I can take this guy here, right? And then when the bishop moves, I take b2 as well, and everything is falling apart. But here we just got the better of them with knight e4, which, by the way, immediately highlights the issue with this bishop g5 thing that I told you, excuse me, as soon as it was played, which was that it's not creating a pin. Like when you're attacking a knight like this, that is not pinned, it's usually, yeah. The Trumpovsky is pretty much the only occasion when it's okay, and I guess the Torre attack, not that either of them is, you know, anything to write home about, but playable openings for sure. Okay, rook c1 logical but bad, rook b8, bishop b4. This should be decisive. Okay, I'm being unjust. I can't say logical but bad because probably there was no better move to play. And besides, rook b8, queen c2, bishop b4, check, king d1. Oh, but then queen c6 is going to be met by the mate. Okay, nice. Although I need to watch out for my knight on e4 a little bit. So queen c2. Oh. Oh, wait a tick. Oh man, I wanted to do a tactic somehow. Like, I wanted to combine bishop b4 with rook takes b2 to lure the queen away to do queen d3, but I can't do that because if I play bishop b4 check first, then I'm blocking the rook's path to b2. If I play rook b2 first, then queen b2 prevents bishop b4. Awkward. So one way to deal with that, by the way, which is very cute, I just realized that now. Oh man, that's amazing. Check this out. I can go bishop b4 check, king d1, and then I can play the mysterious, and perhaps bad, bishop a5, with the intention of taking on b2, queen b2, and then queen d3. Except queen e4. So I'm talking garbage, yeah? Hang on. Bishop b4, king d1, bishop a5, queen here, rook b2. Nah, I can't do that. Okay, let's go check. I'm going to fall back to plan B, which was that after king d1, I'm just going to simply play f5, and queen c6 loses to queen d3. And otherwise, I will just castle, play c5 eventually. In fact, c5 also will... Yeah, it will be on the cards after f5. Yeah, let's just go f5, defend the knight on e4. Let's not get too cocky. I got very excited about bishop a5 for a second. I overlooked it after queen here. I can't go d3. So, yeah. And my opponent, once again, 2-second moves. Like, I don't understand why people do this. It is absolutely shocking. And surprise, surprise, when you play a move with 0.9 second thinking, it's gonna be a blunder. Like, who would have thought, really? And I know I sound condescending, but like, as a chess coach, I feel so, why do you do that, man? Like, take your time. Like, look at this. He spent 3 minutes 20 on the game. I spent, like, more than double of that. And I'm the titled player and the international master. And I can guarantee you, and this is something that I love talking about, that one of the best measures of who is a better player and by how much in a certain situation, let's call it a game situation like this, very often can be super easily measured by the number of variations calculated in the game. And it's perfectly irrelevant how many of those lines came to the fore. Yeah, in fact, the more you calculate, the worse that ratio gets, because there is only one move / one line that will be played out. But the incredible feel of control that you gain out of those calculations is just such a divine feel. It feels like nothing can go wrong in your game when you calculate a lot of lines more than what you would usually do. And I can guarantee you that in this game, the number of lines this guy calculated versus the number of lines I calculated, not even comparable. And I wasn't even doing a lot because I was doing a lot of commentary. Now, very briefly, have a look at the game or game analysis, because I would like to see what I might have done wrong, because I play every single chess game in my life with the intention of you know, trying to do my best, and when I don't, to try to improve upon it. So I'm going to show you the .com game review, which tells us that I scored a 95.7. I'm quite impressed, which is not very often something I would say. 0 blunders, 0 miss, 0 mistakes, 0 inaccuracies. Not bad. Not bad. Now, to the immense credit of my opponent, he managed to not blunder at all with their ridiculous time management. That's a minor miracle there. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this score that I got. Let's have a look at the game to see if the engine recommends any. Well, it won't recommend any other moves than what I played because I had no inaccuracies. Oh, actually, b4 is good, but not best. Okay, that's interesting. So what is best here? Let me try to figure it out. It's not queen a5. It's not a6. What the heck is it? Oh, maybe knight d5. That's a... No, I would... Nah, that can't be right. I don't know. I give up. What is the best move here? Oh, yeah, okay. Queen b6. I'm being a doofus. Okay, fair enough. Defending b5, but I don't see what was... Oh, okay, knight a2 was bad, which I thought it was. So instead, they needed to go to b1. But then again, I should have an easy game here with only one pawn out of the two hanging now. So knight a2 was a mistake. We flagged that correctly. And boomshki! Queen a5 was best. I'm very, very happy with this calculation. Bishop c4 was bad. So let me check if my calculation was on point here with knight c3. So the intention was knight c3. And if bc, queen c3, we win the bishop. And on queen d2, I wanted to play queen h5, which, to my greatest delight, is shared by the engine. And in fact, the engine recommends this line. So this is what I'm talking about. This is one of the greatest feelings you can have in chess. I called out the line queen c3, queen h4, knight f3, queen f6, knight e5, e6. And I called it winning for black. And that's the engine's top variation from here on all the way. And that feels super rewarding because what that tells me is that I was in full control of the game because everything else by white is worse, which means I'm in less trouble. So I predicted, calculated the best line for my opponent and I still managed to stay on top of that. That's like, mwah, that's what you want to aim for all the time, every time. And I'm super, super happy. Even against the 1600, I don't care. If I see the best engine line and I evaluate it correctly, happy camper. Right, so queen b3 was played, knight e4 was played, goody. Bishop a6 was excellent, good. Take, yep, great, back, yeah. I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise that these moves are all on point. And yeah, Matutsky next move. I don't know how easy it looked for you guys. It was pretty simple to be in it, but I still felt like I needed to conduct all those calculations that I did in order to feel in control and to ensure that the victory was mine. Indeed, I'm not my opponent's coach, but their time management was atrocious. That needs to be addressed. Mine might have been actually a little bit on the other side, a little bit iffy, but doing the live commentary of the game and playing at the same time always taxes me a bit more than it should on the clock. Overall, I think it was an interesting game to follow through. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that this was an interesting learning opportunity for you. Please don't forget to comment, to sub, to like, to super thank me if you can. And I'm going to be back with the next video very soon, which, by the way, is going to be a book review, which might feature Magnus Carlsen on the cover. That was a little bit of a stay with me and I'm going to give you the goodies type of way to sign out. So yeah, that was it from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back with the next soon. Bye.